Welcome to Everlasting Salvation Church of God Bible Study. I'm Pastor Andre Higginbotham. Today we'll begin Bible study within the book of Proverbs. Today's focus will be on the introduction to the book of Proverbs, which will include the first 7 verses. We're going to pay close attention to the first 7 verses today. Now, as I was using the King James Study Bible, I noticed within the interpretation and purpose, it stated that the purpose of the book of Proverbs is clearly to show the reader how to live wisely or skillfully. Very important. It's very important for us to learn how to live wisely or skillfully. But I'm a firm believer that this book of Proverbs teaches us to how to live wisely and skillfully. Now, as we prepare to begin our Bible study within the book of Proverbs, I want to make sure everyone understands that the book of Proverbs is a book of general rules. There are no promises within the book of Proverbs. Are you listening, church? The book of Proverbs is a book of general rules. There are no promises within the book of Proverbs. Proverbs are generalized statements of what is usually true in life, but they must not be treated like promises. Let me give you an example. Proverbs 15:1, New King James Version states, "A soft answer turns away wrath." Now, in most instances, that is true. But our Lord's lamb-like gentleness didn't deliver him from shame and suffering. I want to give you another example. Proverbs 11:8 states, "The righteous man is rescued from trouble, and it comes on the wicked instead." In most cases, that is true. But millions of Christian martyrs testify to the fact that this statement isn't an absolute in this life. What I want you to understand is, the book of Proverbs is a book of general rules, not a book of promises about absolutes. Are you with me, church? I wanted to just make that clear. And I ask you to bear along with me tonight, because I've had a cold this week and my voice is struggling just a little bit. But God's word will come forth. We will have this Bible study tonight. Let us begin at chapter 1, verse 1. Follow along with me, church. Verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Verse 1. We see the subject and the author of this famous book are mentioned in the very first verse. The book contains the Proverbs of Solomon. The subject is being discussed in more detail in the next 3 verses. This great book of practical wisdom begins by introducing what it is. It is a collection of Proverbs. Now, as we continue to look at verse 1, we see that the subject is Proverbs. And what is Proverbs? Proverbs are wise sayings. Therefore, the subject is wise sayings. As we continue to look at this verse, we see that Solomon is the author of this book. But I want to point out some of the Proverbs originated with or were contributed by others. But Solomon is the primary author of the book. Verse 2 through 4 teaches us the purpose of Proverbs. Let us read verse 2. Verse 2 states, "To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding." Verse 2 shows us that this book of Proverbs are to teach people wisdom, discipline, and understanding. So right now we understand that we all need to study this book of Proverbs. Am I right, church? Because all of us need wisdom, discipline, and understanding. I want to point out that wisdom is not mere knowledge, information, or education, but wisdom is knowing how to use knowledge. Did you get that, church? Wisdom is knowing how to use knowledge. Wisdom is not just mentally received. Wisdom is not just here in the inner self, but wisdom is also outwardly displayed in the person's conduct and actions. So what I'm saying is, as God blesses us with wisdom, people will see it. People will know that God is blessing us with wisdom because they will see a change come in their life. They will see a change in our conduct and a change in our actions. The purpose of Proverbs is to give us insightful instruction, to teach us to be skillful in living a godly, successful life, and to help us correct the sinful, foolish tendencies of our fallen nature. And let's be honest, church. None of us popped out the womb holy baby. No. All of us was born into sin. And let's continue being honest here. We all have had some foolishness in our life, and we all still have some foolishness in our life. We need this book of Proverbs. We need it, church. Let's be honest with ourselves. And now God has instructed me to teach this Bible study in a manner that will be easy for everyone to understand. Therefore, I will not go into discussing Greek translations or anything like that. We will keep this Bible study on a level that will allow understanding to be easy. We allow the teenager to understand. It allows the doctor not to be bored. Are you with me, church? Follow along as I read verse 3. Verse 3 states, to receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment and equity. What verse 3 is teaching us is Proverbs are to help people build a wise and disciplined life. Proverbs is to help us to do what is right, just, and fair. We all need to understand what's in this book of Proverbs. Verse 4 states to give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. What is verse 4 saying? Verse 4 is saying Proverbs teaches the simple to make good judgments and to give knowledge and discernment to the young. Now who is this verse talking about when it refers to teach the simple? The simple are those who are naive and gullible, easily enticed and prone to fall into traps. Does any of us fit into that category? I'm not going to answer that. Just think about it. Those who are simple lack good judgment because they are inexperienced and unlearned. Now, simple does not mean dumb or lacking in mental faculties. They merely need to be told what to do and how to do it, and then given the opportunity to do so. I'm a firm believer that we all are simple in some area of our life. Do you agree with me, church? We all need the book of Proverbs to teach us how to make wise decisions. When this refers to the young, it is talking about children from infancy to adolescence. Those who are immature and inexperienced, they need to be filled with instruction. We didn't come here knowing everything. We came here having to be taught. We need instruction. We need to be filled with instruction. Verse 5 states, A wise man will hear and will increase learning. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. Proverbs is not written merely to help the simple and the young become wise, but also to help those who are already wise. No matter how wise a person may be, he or she can accumulate more knowledge. None of us can accumulate enough knowledge or wisdom. More is always needed and beneficial. None of us have enough wisdom. We can never accumulate enough wisdom. Therefore, the wise are urged to learn and to get guidance from Proverbs. All of us need this book of Proverbs. None of us have enough wisdom. Each and every one of us could use more wisdom. What did verse 5 say? First, verse 5 began by saying, a wise man will hear. So what is it telling us? It's telling us that wise people have teachable spirits. Do you have a teachable spirit? Or are you one that don't want anyone to tell you anything? Are you willing to learn from others? Wise people have a teachable spirit. It says it right here in verse 5. A wise man will hear. Wise man listens. And he receives from others. He's able to be taught. Are you willing to learn from other people? Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to hear? As we go about this introduction today, God wants us to check ourselves, to see where we are, to take a look at ourselves and see, are we wise? Are we striving to be wise? Wise people want to learn and improve. And they realize the lessons can be learned from even the most unlikely teachers. Therefore, they are attentive in every opportunity to learn. Now, as we go about our daily walk, as we go about our daily life, are we attentive to the opportunities that God presents to us where we can learn? Think about it. Think about it. Do we have a teachable spirit? Are we willing to listen? Are we attentive to every opportunity to learn? We must become attentive to the opportunities that God presents to us, allowing us to learn from other wise people. Verse 5. We're continuing in verse 5. Verse 5, it began by saying a wise man will hear. But then what did it continue by saying? It continued to say, and will increase learning. And will increase learning. Wise people continue to grow and learn. Are you one that continuing to grow and learn? Or are you comfortable where you are? Are you comfortable in your little box? See, wise people continue to grow and learn. And I'm urging you right now to continue to grow and learn as you go about your daily walk. See, wise people are neither smug, nor satisfied with the wisdom that they have attained. As they learn, they become more aware of what they don't know. See, only a fool think he know it all. I remember my grandparents telling me that no one loves a know-it-all. And I found out that is true. The wise, they understand that the spirit is like the body. It has to be continually nourished in order to remain strong. Therefore, they are constantly reading, listening, and looking for opportunities to grow. We must take care of our spirit just like we take care of our physical body. We must nourish it. We must exercise it. We must continue allowing it to grow. Wise people understand that the world is always changing and that they need to stay abreast of the new discoveries and methods of an ever-changing world. Wise people understand that they must continue to change as the world changes. And I think God's given me a wise spirit, because I'm sitting right here in front of the class using software, using a computer. I used to teach Bible study from a paperback Bible. But now that I've grown older and my vision is not as sharp as it used to be, God has allowed me to be wise enough to get a screen that's lit and clear. I have my Bible in my software now. Why? Because I'm wise. God has taught me to stay abreast of the new discoveries. Are you staying abreast of the new discoveries, or are you getting left behind? Think about it. I'm urging you, church, don't get left behind. Stay abreast of the new discoveries. Wise people seek advice and counsel when making decisions. That's still in verse 5. What does it say? And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel. Wise people seek advice and counsel when making decisions. Are you one that has too much pride to ask for advice? Or are you one that will seek counsel from wise people? See, wise people seek advice. Wise people seek counsel from other wise people when they have to make a very important decision. See, wise people understand the value of utilizing the wisdom of others. Do you utilize the wisdom of others? That's a trait of being wise. Wise people obtain wise counsel or guidance before acting. Did you hear me? Wise people obtain wise counsel. God is not teaching us just to obtain counsel, but God said wise counsel. See, wise people don't go to the short bus and to get advice from the kid on that short bus. 1 + 1 is 3. No, God don't send us there. Wise people go to wise people seeking advice, seeking counsel. Those who are wise recognize that they need the wisdom of others to help lead and guide them. Now, do you recognize that you need wisdom from other people to help you along the way? I don't have a problem seeking counsel from wise people. I cherish it. I cherish it. I guess it's the spirit that God has given me. This is what God is telling us. Don't try to do it all on your own. That's not wise. That is not wise. I was in a deep study, and I noticed that God taught me in that deep study. You know, God said, I will surround you with all the people that you need at all times. I said, glory, hallelujah. Woo! We must be attentive and know how to receive from people that God surrounds us with. Are you listening, church? Look at verse 6. Verse 6 states, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. We're just in the introduction. We're just doing the introduction tonight. That's all we're doing. And look how God is already teaching us. Just think about next week, how it's going to be next week. We're just in the introduction. And when we go deep into Proverbs next week, it's going to be just totally awesome. It's going to be awesome. Verse 6, to understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and the dark sayings. Verse 6 teaches us that We are to understand the proverbs and parables, the wise sayings and riddles. We are not to just read the proverbs. We are to study and understand them. Are you listening, church? I come across so many people that say, I've read the Bible from the beginning to the end. Well, that's good, but that's not good enough. You read the Bible from the beginning to the end, but did you get clear understanding? God is telling us today, it's not what we read, it's about what we read, and just do we get understanding from what we read. Whatever we read, we must get understanding from it. We're not just to read this book of Proverbs. We're to get clear understanding from it. We're to get clarity of what we've read. And that is exactly what we're going to do in this Bible study. We're gonna break these verses down. We're gonna explain every sentence in the verse. We're gonna perform an exegesis of the verse. We're gonna get clear understanding, like God is teaching us. We're not to just read the Proverbs, but God said we are to get understanding from what we read. See, people who are wise genuinely strive to understand the meaning of the wise sayings, stories, riddles that convey wisdom. Wise people don't just read and continue reading without understanding what they've read. Are you wise? Wise people desire to grasp every morsel and truth contained therein and to meditate on its application to life. Are you listening? See, we're to read this book of Proverbs. We're to get understanding of what we read, and we are to understand how to apply it to our life. That's what God's telling us. And now, this is something for us to think about. As believers, we should always be interested in ways to become wiser, more effective witnesses and laborers for Christ. So many people go about their life today not even thinking about becoming wiser. That's why they remain where they are. Think about it. In the few short verses above that we just discussed, the short verses that we just discussed, Scripture has identified a list of qualities of wise people. It will be to our advantage to evaluate ourselves in light of them. Let's take a look. We're going to look at some of the qualities of wise people. And as we go over this little list of qualities of wise people, I want you to apply it to yourself. I want you to check yourself. Number one, do I have a teachable spirit? Are you one that hears? Are you one that listens and allows people to teach you? Allow people to teach you. That's the trait of being wise. Two, do I pursue opportunities to grow and to continue to learn? Do you pursue opportunities to grow? Think about it, church. And are you continually learning? 3, do I seek the counsel and advice of others? Are you willing to get advice from others? Or do you have too much pride? Do you think you know everything? Do you have to feel like you're better than other people so you won't ask them anything? Wise people seek counsel and advice from other wise people. Do I actively seek to understand truth and those things that will increase my wisdom? Do you try to obtain truth and increase your wisdom? Do I exercise my mental faculties and sharpen my ability to think? Are you one that just staying in your little box? Are you one that just remaining comfortable Are you exercising your mind? Are you sharpening your ability to think? Do I stretch myself to understand new and difficult things? Again, are you staying in your box, just living a comfortable life, staying on a plateau and not rising higher and higher? Are you one that, or are you one that is striving? Are you one that's reaching for higher things? Are you one that's stretching your understanding? Are you one that's tackling difficult things? Are you one that's climbing higher and higher? These are some of the essentials that will help us grow in wisdom. Basic qualities that wise people possess. Now listen to what I'm about to say. We may not gain wisdom on our list of things to do each day, or even on a long-term goal. But if we know ways in which we can grow wiser, we will be foolish not to make gaining wisdom a priority in our life. In fact, it should be a motivating factor behind everything we do. Whatever we're doing, we should be trying to gain wisdom. How many here wake up in the morning and on their things to do throughout the day, they put gain wisdom? Not very many people. But we should be trying to gain wisdom every day. Wisdom is a gift from God. Look to God to gain wisdom. Look to God. Put yourself in a position where God will bless you with more and more wisdom. And be alert when God surrounds you with people, things, environments that will cause you to be blessed with wisdom. Be alert and receive. We must be alert at all times. All times striving to gain wisdom from God. And God said, he who do not have wisdom, ask for it. If you don't have wisdom and you know you don't have wisdom, ask for it. Look at verse 7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. That it's amazing. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Now verse 7 is the key verse in this book of Proverbs. Did you get that? Are you listening, church? Verse 7 is the key verse in this book of Proverbs. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. This is the vocal verse of Proverbs, the foundational truth of all that follows. There's no alternative to the truth of this statement. There's no substitute for what it prescribes. The fear of the Lord and it alone. The fear of the Lord and it alone unlocks the door of wisdom. Now, because this verse 7 is the key verse in this book of Proverbs, it is imperative for us to fully understand its meaning. Okay, let's go into this verse 7. First, what is the fear of the Lord? It is recognizing who God is and ascribing to him the respect, reverence, and his authority. And the authority that he is due. What is the fear of the Lord? It is recognizing who God is and ascribing to him the respect, reverence, and authority he is due. How can you respect a God that you don't know? Who is God to you? Who is God to you? Think about it. God is almighty. He's all holy. He's God of heaven and earth. He's Alpha and Omega. He's our healer. He's our comforter. He's our joy. He's our strength. He's our provider. He's our everything good. All good comes from the Lord. And it's powerful. So powerful. Now continuing to look at this verse 7. Second, notice that the name of God is Yahweh. That's Hebrew. Or Jehovah, Greek. Which is the personal covenant name of God. The fear of Yahweh is the key to wisdom. Many believe that all religions ultimately worship the same God. But the only true living God has revealed himself in his word. He has told us that his name is Yahweh. The fear of all other so-called gods is not the beginning of knowledge. The fear of Yahweh, him and him alone, is the beginning of knowledge. Are you listening, church? Third, wisdom and knowledge is inseparable. For mastery of life experience demands knowledge of God's moral order. What is wisdom? What is wisdom? Wisdom is not knowledge. Wisdom is knowing how to use knowledge. Wisdom and knowledge is inseparable. Fourth, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. This means that the first step toward wisdom, this means that you got to have the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. This means that it is the first step toward wisdom. Wisdom and knowledge is inseparable. Come on, church. It means that trust in God is the foundation of wisdom. Wisdom is built upon the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Are you listening, church? I'm going over it again. This means that the first step toward wisdom is the fear of the Lord. And the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. This means that it is the first step toward wisdom. It means that trusting God is the foundation of wisdom. Wisdom is built upon the fear of the Lord. You know, I wanted to make it clear. Oh yes, oh yes. Verse 7 is the key verse. This verse introduces two paths that a person can follow in life. The way of the wise and the way of the fool. Which path are you following? Are you following the path of the wise, or are you following the path of the fool? These two ways are contrasted throughout Proverbs. The way of the wise is defined by the fear of the Lord. The way of the fool is defined by despising the wisdom and instruction or discipline that comes through a relationship with God. Which path are you following? Are you following the path of the wise, or are you following the path of the fool? Think about it and make the necessary changes. We're going to conclude right here for tonight. I thank God for being with us tonight and discussing the first 7 verses within the book of Proverbs. I want to thank each and every one for being part of Bible study tonight. Go in peace, go in love. And may the God of love and peace be with you all.